Welcome to the Deal Calendar. I'm Kathleen Flynn from the Deal's Tech Confidential.
And I'm Suzanne Stevens with the Deal's Corporate Dealmaker.
This is our weekly look at the top stories that we're covering at the Deal, and also about some dates that we think will have a big impact on deal making.
Since we last talked, Mary, Countrywide shareholders have voted to approve Bank of America's acquisition, but there's an added wrinkle to that story. The Attorney General of Illinois has filed a civil suit against Countrywide, alleging the lender used unfair and deceptive business practices in selling mortgages to folks in that state. So we'll be following that story certainly in the months ahead.
And in the days ahead, one of the deals that we're looking at is TriZetto Group, which is involved in a take private from Apax Partners. On Monday, June 30th, shareholders for TriZetto are going to vote on the deal. I was talking to our private equity reporters, John Morris and Christine Idzelis, and they were telling me that this is part of a bigger trend in LBOs. A lot of creative deals, they're not very big deals. Getty Images is one of the ones that they told me about. That's a $2.2 billion take private. But some of the things that are interesting about these deals are the players are not your traditional big banks. Some of the lenders are different. In the case of TriZetto, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee and Regents Group are helping out with the funding there. Another one, Landry's restaurant rather. That there, in that case, the CEO is participating. He's actually buying the company. So, interesting to see the kinds of deals that can get done in the current economic climate.
Yeah, people are being creative because of the credit crisis, obviously. While we're on the topic of LBOs, the July 7th cover story of the Deal News Weekly is LBO Deals of the Year, and there have been some big ones. Some have worked out really well, some have not. One deal that we'll be featuring in that issue that did work out well for its investors was TPG Capital and Goldman Sachs Partners investment in Alltelcor, and they sold that to Verizon Wireless for $28.1 billion. And as Chris Nolter, our telecom reporter, notes in the story, if there were an award for the quickest turnaround, this deal would probably be a lock. TPG and Goldman closed that LBO in November of 2007. They managed to hammer out the deal with Verizon Wireless by June. So in about 7 months' time, those investors made about a 28% return on their investment. So not bad.
Yeah, pretty impressive. But not all the deals turned out well that we cover in the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. One that didn't work out well involves Apollo Management and its co-investors, who invested about $680 million in the $1.3 billion take private of Linens and Things. Now, Linens and Things was struggling when that LBO took place, which was in November of 2006, but it really got hammered by the housing crisis. And by May of this year, Linens and Things filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So not what the investors had hoped for, that's for sure. I want to mention, too, though, Mary, in the July 7th issue, you've got a big story that you've been working on for a while. It's a scoop, so I'm wondering, what can you tell us now?
Well, I can't tell you a lot because I don't want to scoop myself, but let's see, what can I tell you? I've been talking with an entrepreneur who was something of a star back in the go-go 90s. Very interesting person, and I've been getting a big update on what he's doing today with his company. I know I'm being coy here. What can I tell you? Read it, thedeal.com/newsweekly, and it'll be out before the holiday, and it is an exclusive. It is a scoop.
Excellent. Now, I wanted to ask, though, will folks in the internet world, the tech world, will recognize this entrepreneur's name?
They absolutely will recognize this colorful character from the 90s.
One more deal that I wanted to talk about happening, actually, the week of June 30th, The Orchard, which is a digital music distributor, their asset purchase out of bankruptcy of TVT Records assets is scheduled to close that week. Now, TVT Records was an independent record label that broke some pretty big artists, including Nine Inch Nails and Ja Rule, and they have a pretty impressive stable of hip-hop artists. But they ran into some trouble when a rival filed suit against them for unfair business practices. The judge agreed and ordered TVT to pay about $9 million in damages. That was enough to kick TVT into bankruptcy, and The Orchard scooped up those assets in the bankruptcy sale, which again is scheduled to close the week of May 30th. And June 30th, thank you. And The Orchard will walk away with TVT's master recordings as well as that stable of hip-hop artists that I mentioned.
Okay, now I have a little one for you going on in the world of online music. One of the startups that we cover, Music Nation, and the CEO is Daniel Klaus. They're doing a kind of a fun contest right now. You can vote for your favorite artists on Music Nation, and the winner will get two Gibson guitars, and probably more importantly, a record contract with Original Signals Epic Records.
Hey,
So just a
not
little
bad.
fun thing for the holiday week.
Yeah, absolutely, and not a bad prize there for the winning band. And we want to give a little plug to our colleague Paul Bonanos as well.
Absolutely, because if anyone wants to follow online music and deal making in the music industry, the best place to go is The Note. Paul Bonanos, our colleague, is writing it. It's our new blog, and I recommend it highly as a great read.
Excellent. And that's it for this edition of the Deal Calendar. I'm Suzanne Stevens. If you have suggestions of stories we should be covering or dates to make us aware of, send us an email at reporters@thedeal.com.
And I'm Kathleen Flynn, and happy 4th of July.